In this video, we're going to go through the concepts found in Grammar 2P. So let's go through an overview of what these are. So we have dictionary skills, parts of speech, and businesses and structures. So first we'll go over dictionary skills. Dictionary skills are important for future use in general, just because you will be using a dictionary a lot, and you need to make sure that you understand how to use a dictionary and how to navigate it. So here we have our long explanation that we're going to split up into 3 different sections and just go through it piece by piece. Our first section is about guide words, and here we have an example using save and sleep. Excuse me. You can see that guide words are pretty much the first and last words found on a page. So here we can see on our page 213 that save is the very first word on this page and sleep is very last. And this gives us a clue into what words we can find on there. So we can see that we have the words send, shed, and sick on this page, and those are important because you can see that they come alphabetically between save and sleep. So if we are looking for a specific word, or we're trying to figure out what word would be between save and sleep, what we need to do is, since they all start with S, is look at the second letter in each of the words. So here we know that save starts with SA and sleep has SL. And here we're looking at a couple of other things where we have sock, sweet, send, and smile. And you can see sock, sweet, and smile will not be on this page because O, W, and M come after L in the alphabet. So they won't be found on this page 213. Instead, we'll have the word send found on this page because it has an E that it has as its second letter. And that comes after A but before L. So now that we have that figured out, we'll look a little further into how to find the word now that we know what the guide words are. So in some instances on that same page of the dictionary, everything will start with S, but you may also have a lot of words that have the same second letter, such as here where we have 3 that start with SA. So we have sail, sand, and save. And so now we need to figure out how to order them alphabetically, or where they will come in the dictionary and on the page. So we will look at the third letter now, and we can see that there's an I, N, and V, and we've put them in order according to the alphabet, so that sail is first, followed by sand and save, because I comes before N and also V, and N comes before V in the alphabet. Now we have 2 other words that we need to put in order after sail, sand, and save, and that would be seal and sleep. And so what we're going to do is we're just going to look at the second letter of the words now, because we have the essays all in place. And so we have seal, which is next because E comes after A in the alphabet, and then sleep is going to be the last word in this order because L comes after A and E in the alphabet. One other part of the dictionary that can be useful is multiple definitions. This means that one word could have more than one meaning, and it could also have more than one part of speech. So you can use the dictionary to not only look up definitions, but also the parts of speech of words if you're not really sure how to use a word that is presented to you. So here we have a dictionary entry with cook, and we have the noun and verb form. A noun form would be a person who cooks, and the verb, it would be to make food ready to eat. And we have our example sentence, which is Mom is a really good cook. And we can see that cook is a noun. It's naming a person who cooks, who is Mom. And so we can see that that is the definition for that word based off of the part of speech. Another example would be Mom cooks well. And so we can see that Mom is cooking. That is what she's doing. Therefore, it is a verb, which means to make food ready to eat. And so now we know the definition based off of the part of speech again. So now we're going to look at what kind of activities we're going to be completing in 2P with this information. So you'll see a lot of pages like this in the booklet. So we're once again going to go piece by piece with this so that we have, excuse me, the definitions and everything provided, and we're just going to dissect this really quickly. We have our guide words up at the top of the page, and we can see glass and jam are our guide words. So glass is the first entry on the top left, and jam is our last entry at the bottom right. And now we're going to go through each word individually that will be found on this page. So we have glass, which can be a hard, clear material or a drinking container. We have head, which is a top part of a human body containing the skull and brain, or it can mean top, chief, or front. Next we have hood, which is the front end of a car. And we also have a hood, meaning a covering for the head. And then we have jam, which can be a spread made of fruit and sugar, or it can mean to squeeze into a small space. So now that we've gone through our definitions and our guide words and everything, we're going to look at the actual activities we'll be completing. So here we have that we need to write the letter of the correct definition for each underlined word below. So we're going to do the first one together. This first sentence is, the mechanic opened the hood of the car. So we're looking at the word hood, so let's focus on those definitions, and we're just going to put the definitions in place of the word. So we have the mechanic opened the hood, or the front end of a car, or it could mean the mechanic opened the covering for the head of the car. A car doesn't really have a head, but also within the definition, the first definition of hood, we see the word car. So that's a pretty telltale sign that E is going to be the correct answer. And so then you'll go through the other three sentences and see what is the correct definition based off of the context clues within that sentence. Some other activities that you're going to look at are going to be as such. So we're going to answer the questions by writing the correct vocabulary word from the dictionary page on the lines provided. So that fifth question is, the guide words on this page are blank and blank. Well, we've already gone through this, and this is a pretty easy one because it's practically given to you on the definition entries. Glass and jam are our guide words. So we're just going to write that down on the lines provided. Our next question is, which word is an adjective? So here we're going to look at the parts of speech, and we are just going to look for the word that is an adjective. We see that head can be a noun or an adjective. All the other ones are either going to be a noun or a verb, and so head will be our answer. So here we can write that down, and then you can continue on to the next one in a similar manner. Now we're going to go over parts of speech and how to dissect a sentence to determine which is which part of speech, which word in the sentence is which part of speech that is. So here we're going to go through this little table. Notice that each word or each part of speech has its abbreviation given. So here we have noun with its abbreviation, and that means a person, place, or thing. An adjective is a word that describes noun. A verb is an action word. Pronoun is a word that can replace a noun. Conjunction is a word used to connect or coordinate sentences, and your three options for that is and, but, and or. And then you have interjection, which is a word used to show emotion and stand separately from other sentences. So here we have a sentence which is, wow, Sarah and I saw 3 dolphins. So we're going to set up a little structure for that so that we're separating each word of the sentence to separate them. And we're going to write down underneath each one the part of speech. So we'll start with wow, which is an interjection. It's showing emotion. And notice that I'm writing the abbreviation here. So I have the correct spelling, and I put a period at the end of the abbreviation. Even though you won't be using these words in a sentence with these answers, you still need to make sure that your answers are grammatically correct, meaning they're spelled correctly and they have a period if it's an abbreviation. So let's move on to the next one. We have Sarah, who is a noun. She is a person. Next we have and, which is a conjunction. I is a pronoun. It's renaming a person. We have saw, which is what Sarah and I are doing. So that is the verb. And then we have the word 3, which is an adjective for dolphins, which is a noun. So that is how you're going to dissect those and figure out the parts of speech for each. And the last thing we're going to go over is businesses and structures. There are 2 rules here. The first is capitalize the name of any business or company, and the second is capitalize the name of any structure or public building. A reference page is in the back of the booklet for you to use. Here's the example of it. It has all the companies, businesses, public buildings, and structures that will be in 2P. So if you are ever unsure as to what would be a company and what would be a public building, etc., make sure you check the back of the book, because there's no reason for you to get it wrong when it's given to you in the back. So be sure to look that over after or before each page. So now let's look at a couple of example sentences. We have, they like to shop at Trader Joe's. Trader Joe's being a company, a store, and so we have capitalized the T and the J of Trader and Joe's to show that it is a specific company. Next, we have the sentence, I visited Angkor Wat in Cambodia. Notice that we are capitalizing the A and the W in Angkor Wat because it is a structure, and we've also capitalized Cambodia because don't forget all the other capitalization rules, like you capitalize a country. So if you have any questions or there's stuff you need expanded on, there's a lot of information in this book. Be sure to ask the person who grades your grammar.